Hello and welcome back. Or if you're new here, my name is Suzanne and today we're talking about having harvested elephant garlic and the fact that it produces these little things. And no, they're not actually chickpeas, although they do look like it. But what these are called corms. And these are produced on the bottom of elephant garlic, which is actually a form of onion rather than actually being a form of garlic. Now, if you're like me and you've had a seriously bad weather year where it's done nothing but rain, your what is supposed to be huge elephant garlic might not even be as big as your normal garlic. See, this is my extra early white, a hardneck garlic, whereas this, look at it, it's all split, and this is my elephant garlic. In fact, this is also one of my bulbs of elephant garlic. Now, how disappointing is that? I think there may be 2 cloves in there if I'm lucky. So, since the seed bulbs for this are so expensive and every single one of these is split, I might not even be able to save any of these cloves as seed garlic for next year. But what I can do is sow these. Now the thing is, I just mentioned that these are more like an onion rather than true garlic. The other thing about this is that these are hardneck, like I just showed you the extra early white. And what hardneck means is that they produce these scapes, and this is actually from this elephant garlic. These are what tell us that our garlic is getting close to being ready for harvest. So if we wanted to, we could actually allow these to mature. It would form a flower and then it would form the seed. You collect the seed, grow it from that, but it takes an awful long time to do it because these are biannual perennial. Now, this is going to do the same sort of thing for us. When we plant this, it's not going to produce a bulb like this. What it's going to do is, in its first year, if I plant this in the autumn, it would take a long time to put roots down and it would come up and act like a set for an onion. So, you know, when you buy those tiny little things to put in the garden instead of growing your onions from seed, this is kind of going to do the same sort of thing in that it's going to produce one clove that looks like an onion but is solid like a clove of garlic. Sometimes, if your weather isn't cold enough during the winter, your normal garlic will do the same thing, or if you've planted them too close. I've actually done trials with garlic in my garden, planting them in various different states. And I actually got that in a part of my garden that was really sheltered and too warm with hardneck garlic, because hardneck garlic actually needs 40 to 45 days of really cold temperatures. So this is why if you live somewhere that's warm, you're better off planting softneck because it doesn't need that cold period. So once we've had this in the ground for that first year, we pull it up and then it goes into stasis and we replant it again the following autumn. That then gives us these. It's what turns into these bulbs. So it actually takes 2 years to get from this to this. However, from these 5 bulbs, I got 31 corms. That's a lot. Now, I don't need all of these in my garden. I mean, I could, I just don't have the space. I'd love to have the space to grow all these out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of these, because not all of them grow out to those bulbs, but if they do, you can actually eat them. they might produce a nice big hefty single clove like this. And so I can eat those just as they are, just like that. Just as you would do a normal garlic bulb that would go exactly the same way. Now, the other thing about this with these, at the moment, you can see they're quite pale because they're new out of the ground. They're covered in a shell, and at the moment they're curing. You can see some are darker than others. Now that shell gets really, really solid, and you have to soak these in the autumn. And I've seen a tip. You can see just how sharp that surface is. And some people will cut that off to allow them to grow out quicker. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them in compost now whilst they're still like this. Just to point out, this is not a root. This little piece here, that's actually where it was attached to the garlic. And then that flat side there, it's where it sits, like that, against the bulb. Chances are I've actually left some of these in the ground. They're a bit like when you have potatoes and years later you'll end up with, potatoes growing out of the ground even though you haven't planted any there. That will happen where you've had this garlic. So that's what I'm going to do. So I hope you find this useful, and I hope it explains why you might have garlic growing where you haven't planted it for a few years. It's these little things. They're fascinating, aren't they? Thanks for watching. And I hope you like, subscribe and share this. Bye for now.